Okay, let's get into this. Today we're going to tell you a story. It's a really perplexing digital mystery, something that absolutely exploded online, got millions hooked, and then just vanished, almost. We are talking about those incredibly bizarre, kind of unsettling videos. You probably saw them, often titled, "Don't Trust Man." They left so many people just scratching their heads. So we're going to piece together the really strange story behind how they went viral, why they disappeared, using all the details from the sources you sent us. Get ready. It's a weird one.
Yeah, it really is. And what's so fascinating, I think, isn't just the weirdness of the videos themselves, but how fast something like this, so unusual, can grab global attention.
Yeah.
Our mission really is to take all these fragments of information we have and try to understand not just what happened, but, why. What does this whole thing tell us about online content, about platform behavior, and maybe those unseen currents in our digital world?
Right. So the story kicks off, like a lot of these strange internet things do, with someone just scrolling, an observer just browsing their recommended feed, and then this video pops up. And the title alone was enough to make you stop, wasn't it? "Don't Trust Man Alone. Help Girl Fix Motor in Forest. Be Careful."
It's such an odd string of words.
It is. It's almost like warning poetry or something. Very specific, very unsettling.
Exactly. But here's where it gets really wild. This video, it was uploaded by a channel called Just Za. And get this, the channel claimed it was based in France, but all the content, all of it, looked like it was from somewhere in Asia. Super strange.
Right. That location mismatch is odd in itself.
Totally.
Yep.
And this single video, it didn't just get a few views.
Yeah.
Within like 24 hours, it blew past 13 million views. Some reports even clocked it at 14 million views in just 21 hours. That's insane viewership for something so cryptic.
Astronomical. It's not just viral. That's like a digital flash flood, especially for content that's so hard to pin down. And the video itself, okay, picture this. It opens, young Asian woman. Her motorbike has apparently broken down in a forest. Seems simple enough. Then a guy in a red shirt showed up. Looks like he's going to help her fix it. He does. They get it working. He then drives her off on the bike. Seems okay. Maybe a bit weird, but okay.
Like a slightly odd roadside assist scenario.
Yeah. But then, not even 10 seconds later, he stops the bike, he gets off, and he just grabs her around the waist. Then he lets go, but then he leads her off the road, like into the bushes.
Okay, now it's getting properly weird.
And here's the really baffling part. The woman, she doesn't seem scared or concerned. She's actually seen smiling when he presses her against a tree. And by the end, she starts to sort of lean into him, almost like cuddling him. It makes no sense. It leaves you feeling really uneasy.
That ambiguity is key, isn't it?
Yeah.
That disconnect between the action and the reaction.
Definitely. And the music, that added another layer. It started off all upbeat, cheerful almost during the breakdown and the fixing part. But the second they got off the bike, when things turned weird, the music just switched. It became like suspenseful and really foreboding.
Underscoring the shift.
Yeah, like it was trying to tell you something sinister was happening. Even if the visuals were just confusing.
So if we pull back and look at all that, the insane speed of the virality, this deeply confusing, kind of disturbing story, music shift.
Yeah.
It really makes you ask, why this? Why would content like this, so ambiguous, so unsettling, blow up so huge, so fast? It feels deliberate, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't accidental.
Absolutely. And it turned out that one video, that was just the start. It wasn't just one weird video from Za. People found something like 15 different accounts re-uploading that exact same video.
15, wow.
Yeah, and every single re-upload had the exact same intro, telling people to subscribe back to the original Za channel. It was like this coordinated effort.
A network effect, almost.
Right.
Propagating the strangeness.
Yeah. Right, and Za wasn't just a one-hit wonder. The sources said the channel had tons of similar videos, all following the same kind of weird formula, often the same actors, and always tagged, get this, as short films.
Short films?
Yeah.
That's quite a label for what you've described.
I know. It was this whole ecosystem of bizarre, ambiguous stuff, like a library of riddles. But then, here's maybe the biggest twist. On April 6th, the original Za channel, with all its videos, all those millions of views, it was deleted.
Deleted by YouTube?
No, that's the thing. It was voluntarily deleted by the user. The creator just pulled the plug.
Whoa, okay, that is interesting. Why delete something so massively popular?
Exactly. It makes you wonder, right? Did they achieve whatever they wanted to achieve and then just vanish?
Well, that deletion itself raises a huge point about online content, doesn't it? About whether anything can really be erased once it's out there. I mean, with re-uploads, mirrors, people saving things, even if the creator deletes it, the internet doesn't easily forget, especially not viral content. There's always an incentive for someone else to keep it alive.
And that's precisely what happened. Za vanished, but the don't trust man phenomenon, it just kept going. It mutated. If you search for that phrase, you'd still find tons of re-uploads. But even weirder, new, similar videos started popping up on totally different accounts.
Like it had spawned the copies.
Yeah, like a Hydra. And the views on these copies were all over the place. Some only had a couple hundred, others had millions. There was one account mentioned, it had over 100,000 subscribers, racked up 30 million views total.
30 million from these kinds of videos.
Yeah, and its channel was this bizarre mix of don't trust man stuff and then completely unrelated clips of a woman like putting fruit on her face, apparently for beauty treatments. It was just chaos.
Food facials and forest encounters.
Okay.
That's quite the programming mix.
Tell me about it. And then there was this other example, maybe even stranger, a video under the don't trust man search, over 3 million views, categorized as educational.
Educational. What was it showing?
Literally 2 people, fully clothed, just kind of posing while someone else took pictures, probably for the video thumbnail. The observer said they seemed to be joking around, even showing positions at one point, but absolutely nothing was happening. Nothing sexual, nothing violent, just posing. How is that educational?
That miscategorization, listing it as educational, that's fascinating and probably very intentional. It's not just random tagging. That's a strategy, right? You label something innocuous like educational or, as we'll see, comedy, maybe to bypass content filters. It's a way to seem harmless, to fly into the radar of the algorithms while still pushing suggestive or weird content. It shows a pretty savvy understanding of how the platforms work or how to game them.
That makes a lot of sense, gaming the system. And that makes you look wider beyond just don't trust man. Because the sources point out, there are loads of other videos out there, very similar vibe, different actors maybe, slightly different setups, but the core story beats. Always the same. It's always this sort of woman gets taken advantage of scenario, but it's ambiguous. And the acting is always, well, weird bad acting was the phrase used.
A consistent, unsettling formula.
Totally. And there's this one channel, huge, over 1 million subscribers, massive view counts, it's videos, tagged as both comedy and educational.
Comedy and educational for serious subject matter. That's a choice.
Right. And this channel even promotes another channel, Popular Comedy, which has basically the exact same stuff. It's this whole network. So putting it all together, the weird titles, the confusing stories, the crazy virality, the deletion, the re-uploads, the dodgy tags. What does it all mean? What was actually going on here?
Well, if you connect those dots, the picture that starts to form seems pretty clear, actually. These almost certainly aren't real short films in any artistic sense. And they're definitely not PSAs. It looks much more like a calculated, quite sophisticated attempt to create suggestive content that manages to stay just inside the lines. Content that doesn't technically break the platform's strict rules. They operate in that murky gray area.
The gray area. How so?
Well, think about it. The videos carefully avoid anything explicit, right? No nudity, no actual sex shown, no real violence. The most you get, as the source said, is maybe 2 adults awkwardly rolling around half-heartedly.
Right, it's never explicit.
Exactly. The unease, the suggestion, the disturbing feeling it all comes from what's implied, not what's shown. It plays on the viewer's mind, on assumptions. And crucially, this implied stuff often slips right past automated moderation systems that are looking for obvious visual flags. It's a clever manipulation, really. Manipulating the unspoken.
Wow, okay. And even after digging deep, the person who first found all this, they apparently admitted they still had no idea what they were truly looking at in the end. That just shows how ambiguous and just fundamentally bizarre this whole thing was. It really does leave you with more questions than answers.
It really does. Yeah. And it forces us to think about that line, that constantly shifting line between, say, artistic expression, deliberate gaming of algorithms, and content that feels, well, potentially exploitative, even if it avoids breaking explicit rules. This whole saga is such a vivid example of creators pushing right up against platform boundaries, and maybe more importantly, how the platforms themselves struggle to define and enforce those boundaries effectively, especially with stuff that works through implication. It really highlights the ongoing challenges in digital ethics.
So, as you're out there scrolling through the endless, sometimes amazing, sometimes deeply weird world of online content, maybe the question isn't just don't trust man. Maybe the bigger question we should all be asking is, what can we actually trust online? And why? Why does some content, even baffling stuff like this that leaves us completely confused, manage to capture millions and go massively viral? It's something to think about. Thank you for joining us on this one. Well, it's a very strange deep dive today. If you found this story as mind-bending as we did, please do give this video a like, share it with someone who appreciates good mystery, and definitely subscribe to 2 Bot Horror Docs for more explorations into the unexplained corners of our world. Until next time, stay curious.